Hey friends, welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. I'm your host Kelly Pally, and today we're taking another look at our list of the top 10 alternate versions of superheroes 2018, part 2. Now last time we dove into characters from both the DC and Marvel universes, but this time around we're sticking just to Marvel, and in particular the recent Infinity Warp series, because there's a whole lot of amalgamations guys, a lot of alternates. We'll also be dabbling in some more villains too, so it's not just superheroes. Also note that we're only looking at characters that debuted in 2018. So with that in mind, let's get to it. And at number 10, Dr. DOOMACTUS. Let's start off our list with the fusion of two very big bads in the Marvel universe, quite literally as far as one of them is concerned. It's Dr. DOOMACTUS, the combination of Dr. Doom and Galactus. He shows up on Earth to either consume the planet for energy or to convert all sentient life into Doombots, because, you know, he loves having them praise him. Actually, it's his thing. So Moon Squirrel, a character that we'll be discussing a little bit later on, steps in to talk him out of it. Now according to his Deadpool's Guide to Supervillains trading card, Dr. DOOMACTUS is the king and sole survivor of the previous universe, and now travels through our universe, feeding his endless appetite for planets and worship. He doesn't listen to reason, he's got an ego, he's got an appetite that won't quit, and there isn't a force in this universe that can stop him. His powers consist of, I quote, all of them. Plus he has an actual doctorate. Now by the end of his appearance he takes off and promises that the Earth is forever under his protection. So I guess he's not really a villain after all then, is he? And at number 9, Observer X. Observer X is the combination of the Watcher and Professor X. Essentially, he's got the Watcher's head, the Watcher's job, and Charles Xavier's body and high-tech wheelchair. He sets the stage for readers in Infinity Warp's issue 1 right at the start. He also has a thing for the letter X, constantly using it in the place of the letters EX in words in his opening fourth wall breaking monologue. This fusion's alliteration skills are clearly on point. Now he introduces his purpose in this world as, I quote, until time itself expires, the Alpha Observers and I will watch each and every expansive exploit that defines this exotic existence. Yeah, you can see how that would probably get annoying. And at number 8, Madame Hell. Next up, we've got another villain combination on our list, Madame Hell, who is the amalgamation of Madame Mask and Hela. Madame Hell first appears at the end of Iron Hammer issue 1, with a caption that reads, "For in Asgard, death herself smiles from beneath a shining mask, and the storm knows fear." She goes after Stark, who is an amalgamation of Thor and Tony Stark, stating that the arrogant hero will taste death's kiss from her golden mask. Then in issue 2 of Iron Hammer, the two have a truce of sorts, in which Stark owns and tells her that while in the past they have been true enemies, she has his respect. He even bows to her. He then stands up and she takes off her mask, revealing to him her true face, which no other man has seen. And she kisses him, metaphorically killing his old self and introducing this new self that courts death and tastes life, and is known as Iron Hammer. Moving on to number 7, Dum Dum Fury. Dum Dum Fury is the combination of Timothy Dum Dum Duggan and Nick Fury. The character first appears in Infinity War's Soldier Supreme issue 1, the solo 2-issue series that followed the amalgamation of Doctor Strange and Captain America, who was named Stephen Rogers. He's one of the Howling Commandos of Hogoth, who traveled around with Soldier Supreme during World War II, fighting off Nazi forces and going on the kinds of missions that no other soldiers were humanly capable of doing. Dum Dum Fury has been shot in the head, something that we learn that the Soldier Supreme has fixed for him, for, as he puts it, the new eye, and revealing a bullet hole under his hat that cuts through his forehead and out the back of his skull. Aesthetically, he looks a lot more like Timothy Duggan more so than Nick Fury, but he definitely has the gusto of Fury. And at number 6, Forever Bushman. This one's pretty darn funny. So Infinity Warps contains some really strange combinations that many of us would never have anticipated. One of those is the fusion of the celestial entity, Eternity, and FOREVERBUSH. For those of you unfamiliar with the two characters, here's who they are in brief. FOREVERBUSH, aka Irving Forbush, first appeared in 1955. But only took up his alias in 1967. He's a satirical character created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, who wears a pot on his head and is a fictional employee of Marvel Comics. Then there's Eternity, which is the anthropomorphic manifestation of every universe within the multiverse. So yeah, these two couldn't be any more different. Forever Bushman appears in Infinity Warp's issue 2, segueing readers into the plot of the story through an intensive rhyme. Kind of like how Observer X did it, except less annoying and less alliteration. Unless you find rhyming super annoying, in which case, probably not gonna like him. He states on his splash page, "Everywhere is ensnared in my cosmic glare, but don't be scared, I only share because I care. This week we'll sneak a peek at bleak geeks and chic freaks, including a time-twisting teen caught between the scene thanks to her machine, a megalomaniac pack on a one-track attack looking for payback, and a fashion-minded mind reader looking to stash his twin bleeders somewhere neater. So let's go." Now we'll be talking about the time-twisting teen shortly on our list, but the pack looking for payback is none other than the Punisher pack that we discussed in our part 1, and the mind reader is Diamond Patch, aka the Wolverine Emma Frost fusion who made our top spot on that previous list. Forever Bushman returns at the very end of the issue 2, signing off with the word Excelsior. And at number 5, Dormammu Red. Dormammu Red is the fusion of both of the Soldier Supreme's fusions' big bads. We're talking Red Skull and Dormammu. In this reality, he's Hitler's Priest of Hell, with Stephen Rogers and the Howling Commandos taking him on in order to completely rid the world of the Nazi threat. Now when we see him in the first Soldier Supreme issue, he gives a big ol' speech to Rogers about how he plans on taking over the world, and that after he's done with Europe, he'll drag Rogers' skinless corpse across the land in the US. Dark, but he is an evil priest of hell, so makes sense. Luckily for Rogers though, our next fusion shows up in the nick of time, stabbing Dormammu Red through the chest. And at number 4, the Winter Soldier. Bucky Wong, aka the Winter Soldier, is the fusion of Bucky Barnes and Doctor Strange's Wong. He first appears in Infinity War Soldier Supreme issue 1 as one of the Howling Commandos of Hogoth, which is where he also meets his untimely end, during a mission in the middle of winter. As soon as he's eviscerated thanks to the Nazis, Soldier Supreme quickly casts a spell over the blood-soaked snow where he died. Later it's revealed that that spell has allowed his spirit to remain with the living, and with Bucky being referred to by soldiers as the Winter Soldier, a ghastly and deadly spirit. Bucky's spirit helps Soldier Supreme fight against Dormammu Red before the villain sends the two of them to the Dark Dimension. The last that we see of Bucky in Soldier Supreme's solo issue, he's in the Dark Dimension with Steven, who tells his ghostly friend that he misses him, right before Bucky fades away. It's actually a really touching and sad moment. Steven notes in his second issue of his solo series that Bucky would visit every now and then in the Dark Dimension, but his appearances became less and less frequent. Moon Squirrel. Moon Squirrel is the combination of Moon Girl and Squirrel Girl. She's got a super genius intellect and the ability to communicate with squirrels, which includes an amalgamation of her pet squirrel, Tippy, and a T-Rex. Yep, it's absolutely amazing, and I personally want a whole issue devoted to Tippy Store. Please and thank you. Look at that face. Her story starts off with Tippy Store alerting her that Dr. DOOMACTUS is approaching Earth. And just like Squirrel Girl's iconic conversation with Galactus that occurred in the comics of the past, this is what happens. Moon Squirrel, choosing to not use physical combat to deal with this threat, has a conversation with the villain in order to convince him that the people of Earth love him and praise him. How does she do that? Well, she alters her squirrel to English translator that was on Tippy Store, taking it off of him and popping it onto Galactus' helmet. She even gets up on his shoulder just like Squirrel Girl does to Galactus in Unbeatable Squirrel Girl issue 4. It's pretty darn great. And at number 2, the Terrific 2. When Gamora halved the Marvel Universe and plopped it into the Soul World to give us this warp world, the Fantastic Four also got halved, leaving the superhero team as a duo rather than a quartet. They appear in Infinity Warp's issue 1, with an origin story similar to the Fantastic Four's, except now there's only Ben and Reed Storm, a pair of brilliant scientists who test their experimental rocket and end up being bombarded by cosmic rays that alter their genetic structure, giving them their powers. So they become Hot Rocks, the burning behemoth of searing stone, and Mr. Invisible, who is crystal clear and full of cheer, according to the issue. Hot Rocks is a combination of the Thing and Human Torch, and Mr. Invisible makes up the rest of the team, being a fusion of Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. And naturally, their logo has changed from a 4 to a 2. And last but definitely not least, in at number 1, Kamala Kang. Kamala Kang is the time-twisting teen caught between the scenes, thanks to her machine that Forever Bushman introduced to us on his first page in Infinity Warp's issue 2. She's the amalgamation of Kamala Khan's Miss Marvel and Kang the Conqueror, a time traveler supervillain who first appeared in the Avengers issue 8 back in 1964, another Stan Lee and Jack Kirby creation. Kamala Kang gets her powers in a similar fashion as Kamala Khan got hers, except instead of the Terrigen Mist activating her dormant powers, it's something called the Chronogen Mists, which warped her mind and body, giving her the ability to embiggen her cosmic perspective. Now, according to the comics, she uses these powers to stretch through space and time. Oh, the puns. But always makes sure to be home by her curfew. She accidentally alters time when she travels back to the 20th century for a school project to meet the father of modern physics, Dr. Ecclestein, and accidentally causes his death, causing her to jump back in time again to try to prevent it. But in doing so, it actually results in the death of another individual, who just so happens to be her father. This causes her to run into other versions of herself, telling her to stop traveling in her time machine and messing up the timeline further. Alright, there we have it, friends. Which one of these is your favorite alternates? Or did you like one of the ones on our previous part 1 list more? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know your thoughts. Also, if you guys want more alternates, we have a whole playlist on our channel, so head on over there or click the playlist that's currently flashing on your screen and subscribe if you're new. We'd love it if you stuck around with us some more. In the meantime though, thanks for watching, friends. I'll catch you all in the next video.